There's been some rumors about the future of OMD since they left Olympus. People from the company have come and spoken to the public and the media recently, and there's some information that they have revealed, and there's certain things that you can read in between the lines as to what their strategy and plan is going forward. In CP Plus 2021, they've announced that they're committed to the Micro Four Thirds system and also cameras that are small and practical to carry around. So it looks like they don't have any plans to switch to full frame or even a larger sensor in the future. Also, they announced that they want to continue with the Pen series, the TUF series, and the OMD lines. So those three lines of cameras will continue to exist, but they didn't specify which ones would exist, whether they would drop some of the cameras or not. But I think they alluded that some of the lower end cameras will disappear, but they didn't say anything definite on that. From what they said, it seems like the focus will be on the high end cameras. So potentially some of the lower end cameras from the EMD series, such as the EM10 or EM5, might disappear. For example, they're not planning to release a battery grip for the EM1, which is something that battery grips, they used to release them for EM5 and EM10 previously. I think they alluded that the focus will be on the EM1X and bodies which have the grip built in. Now, another piece of information that I haven't been able to verify yet is that the production of EM1X series seems to have been discontinued on the 15th of January 2021. I wasn't able to verify this, but there seems to be a rumor around that. So that could mean that the company is building the Mark II version of EM1X, and they're just planning to produce enough of them before they make the announcement. Also, they've alluded that they will make an announcement sometime from April onwards. So that could mean anywhere between April and early June. So there will be an announcement around that time. I don't know whether that's the EM1X Mark II or if it's another camera. They also said that they are committed to continuing the audio products. So all the voice recorder dictation machines will continue in some regions, which I assume is the same regions that already have them. They announced that the Olympus brand will continue to exist on the cameras for the time being until customers have been assured that OMD is continuing the same path of Olympus in terms of quality of build and reputation and so on. And one of the things they mentioned is that they have a culture of zero compromise in development and the manufacturing process. So all the products they produce should have really high quality. Also, they spoke about how Olympus was the first camera company to introduce features such as dust reduction and live view. And OMD will continue to invest in research and development, and they aim to innovate new features the same way they did under the Olympus brand. However, they specifically mentioned that they will not create technology for the sake of technology. Their innovation has to contribute value to the photographers. What I read from that is that technology for the sake of technology refers to 8K, because that's something that not a lot of people are using. Broadcasters are not using it. There's not many media distributions that use 8K. I don't actually know of any. So that's 8K seems to be something which is technology for the sake of technology. It doesn't seem to be a necessity and not something customers are asking for. They mentioned that AI will play an important role in the future of OMD. So the focus seems to be around subject detection autofocus. So this is, bird detection, car detection, and all the different subject type detections that they had in the EM1X series. And they said that they're developing something in this area and we should expect something to be released soon. But they didn't provide timelines and they didn't mention exactly what they're developing. But it sounds like there will be another addition, like a firmware update to the EM1X. An interesting thing which they mentioned is that they're planning to work with other companies to explore other avenues for growth. This is unclear whether it means they're focusing on security cameras, or are they planning to have a Micro Four Third mobile device like a smartphone, or is it something completely new that we haven't thought about? In relation to their latest telephoto lens, they said that they're struggling to keep up with demand, and part of that is because their culture of zero compromise and attention to detail when it comes to the manufacturing process. And I mentioned that they can't actually produce a lot of these lenses in a single day. They mentioned that they plan to make more frequent announcements to press and customers going forward. So we should expect some sort of public communications at least once every 2 to 3 months, but probably more frequently, around once a month. I mentioned this before as well, but there will be an announcement in April or after April sometime soon. So that will be interesting what it is, whether it's a lens or whether it's the Mark II of EM1X. Also, in terms of the strategic direction of the company, they mentioned that there are 4 areas that they will be focusing on. One is wildlife, the other one is bird photography, adventure and outdoors, and macro photography. This is to play to their key strengths, such as weatherproofing, the magnification factor, the compactness to carry their cameras around. And the target demographic is the amateur wildlife shooter who can afford expensive camera gear and go on safari holidays. Long term, the strategy plan for OMD is to focus on the EM1X, maybe the EM1, and it looks like the EM10 and EM5 will probably be ignored or won't make the focus for the company because the profit margins on those cameras are smaller as well. They did confirm that there will be an entry-level camera, so maybe the EM10 and EM5 will be combined into one camera, or one of them will disappear. Or maybe they view the entry-level camera as the pen cameras. They didn't specify, but they said there will definitely be an entry-level camera.